As concert venues and sports teams fight to bounce back from the pandemic, minor league baseball is in a league of its own. Games were canceled last year, and this season started with restrictions on how many people can sit in the stands. Despite that, teams are striking out when it comes to getting help, and some are on the verge of bankruptcy. As Kris Van Cleave shows us, help may be on the way from the U.S. Senate. He joins us from Prince George's Stadium in Maryland, home of the Bowie Bay Sox. Kris, good morning.
Good morning from home plate. You know, in a typical year, more than 40 million fans come to minor league ballparks. But last year, stadiums across the country looked like this. They were empty. Now, take the Bay Sox. Yes, they are affiliated with a major league club, but 95% of the team's revenue comes from things like ticket sales, concessions, and merchandise, things that require fans to be in the stands.
The next pitch is lined into left field.
The Rocket City Trash Pandas are hotter than the Madison, Alabama summer.
Well, we love sitting on the grass and letting the kids run around and play. They can catch a ball, possibly.
The Trash Pandas should have been a 2020 sensation, but then the pandemic happened.
What does losing your inaugural season cost a franchise?
Millions of dollars, probably close to $17 million.
The 2020 season was canceled just weeks before the first pitch, and this season saw the first 20 games axed, leaving the Trash Pandas trying to save the club from the financial dumpster before ever taking the field.
It was either shut the doors and close down and lay people off, or come up with other creative ways to bring people here to the ballpark, use the facility, and do non-baseball events and really push our merchandise.
They sold $2.5 million worth of Trash Panda gear and hosted events like outdoor summer camp, socially distanced movie nights, and drive-through Christmas lights. It was enough to keep their 30-person staff employed and the lights on.
But here in Chattanooga, the Lookouts didn't have that kind of flexibility. In fact, they went more than 600 days without fans in these stands.
Since 1885, the Lookouts have been playing professional baseball. One of the oldest teams in the minor leagues, they've weathered the Spanish flu, the Great Depression, and 2 world wars. But the 2020 season was nearly the Lookouts' last.
Are you still in survival mode?
In a lot of ways, yes. We dug a huge hole in 2020. And with 21, I'd like to think that we were going to fill it back in, but the truth is, even this year, we're still digging just a little bit slower.
When play finally resumed, many teams started the shortened season with capacity limits. 2020 season tickets and advertising sales were rolled over to this year, but by then teams had used that money to stay afloat. As a result, 2021 revenue is expected to be down 65% from 2019.
They are on the brink of financial catastrophe.
Help for the nation's pastime could be coming from an unlikely team, political polar opposites. Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal and Republican Marsha Blackburn.
How often do you two find yourself on the same side of an issue?
I would say we vote together probably rarely.
But on baseball, they agree. The two are co-sponsoring legislation to use $550 million in unspent COVID relief funds to help eligible minor league teams that were shut out of earlier grants for live event venues.
These are days they don't get back. They are drivers for jobs, for tourism. This is very much a part of your local economic system in these communities.
The 120 minor league teams pay about $50 million in local taxes annually and raise another $50 million for local charities. Prior to the pandemic, they employed nearly 35,000 full and part-time employees. Even as fans filled into superhero night at AT&T Field, the Chattanooga Lookouts' future is on the mind of ticket scanner Dan Mummert.
There'd be a lot of us that would be without jobs. And I think that's important to the community, is to employ people of the community. And that's what the Lookouts do.
What would it mean for Chattanooga if the Lookouts don't survive?
Yeah, it's unthinkable, frankly.
Tim Kelly is Chattanooga's newly elected mayor.
When most people think of sports, they're thinking of major league teams owned by billionaires, and this is not that. It's critically important to towns like ours that minor league sports survive and thrive.
Now, without help, the Lookouts owner told us, assuming nothing else goes wrong, the Delta variant doesn't become more of an issue, it will take his team up to a decade to recover from the financial losses. And I want to leave you with this. On average, a family of 4 can go to a minor league baseball game, tickets and a meal for under $70. Tickets here start at $8, which may leave you enough money to get a hat for you and your favorite anchor team.
That's great.
Yeah, we
Kris.
got our hats. Mine are the
Thanks.
trash pandas.
Yeah, thanks for looking out, Kris. We got our hats.
I was going to say that exact same thing. Now I'll just say thank you, Kris. But aside from the economics, Kris, it just shows what it does.
Yes.
Sports and music always very, very healing for people. They can social distance. It's outside. And you don't think about minor league baseball the way that you just showed it. It makes a lot of sense.
Well, in a lot of these communities, it's a real flagship.
Yes.
You know, it's a real point of pride.
And $70, that's cheaper than a movie.
Yeah, you
these
can't get a
days
Mets
for a
ticket for
family.
$70, I don't think.
Exactly. Well, Kris, thank you again. We really appreciate it.